Tonight, 25-year-old appears in court for alleged Christmas murder. Why it's difficult for those that leave to return home. And with a little more than 24 hours to the new year, more officers to patrol our streets. Very good evening. 25-year-old Sulias Ndumukuro appeared before Chief Magistrate Usai Ratuvili this morning for the murder of a 33-year-old farmer of Waisomo in Kandavu. Divisional Prosecution Officer Southern Mohammed Yunus appeared for the state. Ndumukuro, who appeared without legal representation, was told the crime is an indictable offence. The matter has been adjourned to January 17 for mention, when Ndumukuro may also be expected to take a plea. Ndumukuro is alleged to have stabbed the deceased on Christmas Day during a drinking party. The Yellow Ribbon Project has helped ease the reintegration of our inmates back into society. However, for those that struggle with life a little differently, returning home is almost always a bleak prospect.
It is a sad reality when one has no home to go to. This is what some of the patients from the country's only psychiatric hospital face after they are discharged. The lack of awareness is the root of the problem.
If you have a mental illness, it's like a disease, you take your medications, you can have a good quality of life. You can work, you can have a family and things. And a lot of times people don't understand that.
The stigma follows them throughout life.
We still have relatives who don't want to take their families back, who still think that once someone comes to St. Giles Hospital, they need to be here for the rest of their lives.
Now a serious problem. Experts are working hard to address this issue.
So over the years, we've been trying really hard to create a lot of awareness so that people understand that mental illness can be treated, that there are medications for this, that there are clinics, not in St. Giles Hospital only, but also in the health centres and things, so that they have more access. The medications are free. So we're trying to do all these things to improve people's perception about mental illness.
And with the breakthrough in medication, they say such illnesses can be contained.
We've had advances in medications and things, so people come, they get treated, and they can go back and function as members of the community. So a lot of times it's that understanding, lack of understanding, that prompts them to leave their relatives and not take them back.
Most of the patients who have nowhere to go remain in hospital until they find a place. Reviver for all, Fiji One News.
The search for the man suspected to have vital information on the alleged arson case at Natavora Singatoka continues. Speaking to Fiji One News this morning, police spokesperson Anane Soro says no progress has been made. 65 years old Eliki Suka of Minre Settlement Singatoka has been missing since the bodies of his wife and daughter were discovered in their burnt down bar and grill last week. Police believe Suka may have vital information pertaining to how the fire started. The incident has claimed the life of his 40-year-old wife and left his 8-year-old daughter in hospital. The Fiji Police Force says one of its biggest achievements this year is the decrease in the number of sexual abuse on children and women. This has contributed to the decrease in the overall crime rate.
Like most countries, violence against women and children continue to plague our society. With a determined effort earlier on in the year, police now say they have managed to reduce violence against women and children.
Yeah, we started off this year in our concentration of the offences against women and children, which was on the rise for the few years. We concentrated on that and we managed to reduce. When I say reduce this, I base this on the reports that are being reported at our various locations.
Other major criminal activities have significantly dropped as well.
We managed to reduce the crimes against women and also against children. And also in regards to the serious offences. Those are the areas that we targeted for. Based on the data and the stats that we have, we managed to reduce that.
Police says the stats should be viewed as an achievement for the force.
In the overall crime, other offences override the serious offences that have taken place. So looking at it from where we targeted for, there's a slight decrease, especially on the areas of focus that we focus in 2013.
Nrubukelangi, Fiji One News.
The annual New Year's Eve street party is expected to be bigger this year. Organizer Loretta Jackson has promised an entertaining lineup for the night for families to welcome 2014 in style.
The countdown has already started in preparation for the annual FM 96 Fiji Street Party tomorrow night. Since it started 13 years ago, it has been the venue for families to herald for the new year. This year, organizers have planned something special for the early part of the night.
But the new things that we've got this year is from 7 till 9 o'clock, we've got entertainment on a specially built runway stage that we've got coming off the pavilion. So the entertainment, we have the top three Itoke bands, Wonganindalai and Doki Doki will be making a comeback, Malumuni Tombu and Kering Damundamu will perform. We've got some dance groups performing, lots of competition, so there's a lot happening right from 7 o'clock.
Like in any big event, the safety of the families is paramount.
We have never had any incidences. We don't intend to have any this year. The good thing is the annual Fiji Street Party with Vodafone is a non-alcoholic event. It's a place where people can come safely to do what they want to do. We've got amusement rides, we've got food, we've got dancing, we've just got big grounds with lots of light for you to sit and just enjoy.
For those living in the Suwa, Nosori and Lime areas, organizers have arranged for transport until 3 a.m. New Year's Day.
Again, grateful to the bus operators and the taxi union. They come on board with us. They make sure they've got buses and taxis at the event. The buses will run from the bus stop from up until 3 o'clock in the morning, so everyone can get home quite safely. And there's obviously going to be many taxis available on the night at the ground.
The annual Fiji Street Party will end at 1 a.m. Ndrubukelangi, Fiji One News.
And if you plan to send your children to the annual New Year's Eve party tomorrow night, you can rest easier tonight as more officers have been deployed to patrol street party venues. Chief of Operation ACP Rusiati Tundrabu says all divisional heads have been briefed on what needs to be done and that the public safety is their priority.
Well, we have been briefed by the divisional police commanders on the confirmation of some of our street party. We are confirming Lautoka, Narara Preda, we are confirming Lambasa, Sianganga, confirming the one at Monikau, and also at Albert Park. So the plans are in place. We'll expect a lot of visibility of manpower on the ground.
New recruits and the most senior officers will help beef up the New Year operation.
All of us, we have discussed with our police commanders on the ground that we need a lot of manpower, and we are reinforcing those that are there with a number of people that will be coming from the various headquarters, and also the inclusion of the recruits that have just passed out. Those are the manpower that have boosted our visibility and our vigilance on the ground.
The Fiji 7th form examination results will be released tomorrow. Results may be collected from the Education Ministry's examination office at Selborne Street and the capital. In a statement released today, the Education Ministry has called on all students to accept their results positively and make meaningful decisions. The Ministry has also requested students and parents who owe fees and levies to pay their dues to avoid any difficulty in accessing their results from their schools. Still ahead, sugar experts to help review ailing industry. And rural school faces closure. Hello again. A delegation of sugar experts are in the country to help revitalize our ailing sugar industry. While they have a lot to offer, a meeting with local stakeholders has also served as an eye-opener. The experts are helping those that lead our sugar industry on ways we can improve production.
Our delegation is here to understand and to find out what are the requirements of the sugar industry and the situation it is in together with the background of it all. We will then go back to China and draw up a solution, and we will propose it to the Fiji government if they want us to help with the resources and everything they need to better our Fiji standing in sugar production.
Apart from helping build a refinery mill, an expert will be sent to help.
We have had very fruitful discussions with our Fijian counterparts. We now have some basic knowledge of the Fiji sugar industry. We are in a position to help the sugar industry in building a refinery that will enhance production and increase Fiji's status on the world stage. We can also bring our experience of producing sugar in China to bolster the work that has been done here.
It's a shopper's must, receipt at the end of every purchase, but irregularities have got the Consumer Council concerned. Receipts like this do not state the company name and TIN numbers.
It doesn't carry the relevant information such as company details, then that receipt is not fit for anything. And our concern is by not showing the company name and TIN number, these are the companies who are avoiding tax. So we have been forwarding such complaints to FERCA.
Kumar says consumers may find it difficult to seek redress if receipts are not made out in the regulated order. Consumers are therefore advised to report such cases as the issuance of a receipt validates a transaction.
Because if you don't have that detail, the company can always deny that I have not issued this receipt. And when it comes to consumers trying to seek redress if the product is faulty or they need any form of redress, it would be very hard to get that redress because the company can always deny that this is not my receipt.
A school may face closure after the Rural Health Authority deemed it unsafe. The school's management is now working hard to restore what has been left behind after several floods. Apisolome Rambo with the details.
When the Rural Health Authority visited Ratu Veikoso Primary School in 2011, the writing was on the wall.
The last visit of the Rural Health Authority, they seems to tell me like the school can be closed at any time.
According to the manager, phases of refurbishment have been inconsistent because of the lack of financial support.
Right now we have only 2 quality housing, so the rest is sort of like need 70% of repair and maintenance.
The school grounds have been inundated with water due to tidal surge and heavy downpour. This, they say, causes waterborne disease.
On top of that, we need quality teachers. I've been talking to Principal Education Officer in Nosuri that Ratu Veikoso Primary School for 2014 move forward, we need quality teachers.
The time is now just right for that much needed reconstruction. Apisolome Rambo, Fiji One News.
The Consumer Council has welcomed the Commerce Commission's decision to continue the freeze on rent to next year. The Council says that this will act as a law as there are currently no sufficient laws to regulate this market. The Council adds that this has always been a concern for the Council as some landlords continue to increase rent without any upgrade to their properties.
So in the absence of consumer protection, relevant consumer protection laws and enforcement of whatever laws we currently have, and also taking into consideration that there are shortages of home in the urban areas. So consumers need protection, and that's what precisely Commerce Commission has done.
Is that due to the high demand for residential property, consumers are left without much choice. Landlord and tenancy issues ranked in the top 5 list of complaints received this year.
And I only wish that there is a system in place where every property that goes out for tenancy is inspected and the rents are pegged to the condition of the property.
As we mentioned earlier, a team of sugar experts from China are currently in the country meeting with industry stakeholders on ways Fiji can improve its production. Among other matters discussed, the proposed sugar refinery mill project earmarked for Lambasa.
It is a project that is going to cost the industry a little over $28 million if it is to be successfully complete and running well. A sugar refinery mill in Lambasa will be a blessing and will definitely allow Fiji to compete well on the international stage.
We cannot rely on raw sugar only. We need to very well. And that's very well. The concept is to set up the refinery in Lambasa. Lambasa being a standalone mill, it has got very fine port facilities that is there already.
Since the announcement of the expiry of the sugar quota by the European Union in 2017 to ACP producing nations, the Fijian government has been looking at ways to ensure the sugar industry will survive. Beningi says the prospect of building the refinery mill will open more options for Fiji when dealing with the outside world.
The end result of our preferential quota to European ending on September 2017. We have to be competitive with our sugar, like all African, Caribbean, and all sugar producing countries. We have to openly compete in the international market.
That is why the talks here with the Chinese government is hoping that all will go well with the proposed plan and how we can build on the good fortunes of the years that has been and the promises of the future.
Mauritius did the same 2 years back. They were one of the sole exporter of raw sugar to London, Delhi, London, because of this, the reduce in the price of sugar many years back. They opted for this refinery, and they're now one of the prominent exporters of refined sugar to the US market.
Beningi says the briefing with the delegation is a prelude to the meeting with the Prime Minister in the coming days, where the Fijian government hopes to secure a deal with their counterparts in as far as the refinery mill goes. Madium Balitamana, Fiji One News.
Well, it has been a challenging year for one of our defence forces. Goals have been achieved. And with the new year less than 48 hours away, the Fiji Police Force is hopeful for a better 2014. Drew Bukelangi with the details.
The man at the helm of police operation this year says they're satisfied with what has been achieved throughout the year. With less a day remaining to welcome 2014, Chief of Operation Rusia Titunravu says they have met their target with the resources they have.
Given that the Fiji Police has been bestowed with the enforcement of law and order, we align ourselves to what the governments want, and I can state that we have managed taking into consideration the manpower that we have, the capabilities that we have, and guided by our line key performance indicators that have been discussed and with SFCCO. All these things have made it a very challenging year.
Like in any field of work, there have been some drawbacks.
We have some drawbacks on some of the areas that we have been concentrating on. Looking at it generally from the operation point of view, I can say that if the members of the public voice their concerns and voice their satisfaction, those are the better leverage for us rather than me saying anything about our presence.
One of the key contributing factors, the Nduawat Community Policing Program.
This is one of our strategy. Even though that we launched it this year, we managed to implement only few of the areas that we are looking into in the frameworks. This will continue throughout next year. But I can state that the Nduawat Community Policing Model contributed also in the reduction of crimes against women and children this year. That is one of the success I can state in regards to the introduction of the Nduawat Policing Model.
Drew Bukelangi, Fiji One News.
Our Pacific News segment is up next. Stay with us. Two New Zealanders who spent 2 months in a Russian prison following a protest at an Arctic oil platform have returned home. Greenpeace New Zealand Executive Director Bunny McDermott said that David Houseman and Jonathan Beaucamp will spend their first days home relaxing with their families. The pair were among 30 people arrested and charged with hooliganism following the protest at a Gazprom-operated oil platform. The group had charges against them dropped and exit visas granted as part of an amnesty initiated by Russian President Vladimir Putin earlier this month. Now remember, if you missed out on any of our stories in tonight's bulletin, you can view it on our website. That's at www.fijione.tv. And you can also watch previous news bulletins as well as our current affairs, business and sports shows. And in business news tonight, Fiji Television Limited's broadcast license has been extended for another 6 months with effect from today. The request for the extension of its broadcasting license was granted today by government. The 6-month extension is subject to conditions under the provisions of the Television Decree of 2009. Fiji Television Group Chief Executive David Lebu says that they are happy with this 6-month extension, and he adds that Fiji TV will continue to work closely with the Ministry of Communications to comply with all regulatory requirements set out by authorities. Andrew is next with sports, and 2 Fijian players in the All Black 7 squad look forward to Las Vegas and Wellington.
Yes, Vili, the duo are currently in the country, but they have to play in a Sevens tournament next month to impress their coach. That's coming up. Also in sport, a Red Rock 7 side plans for New Year. And hockey reveals they need more game time with new 5-a-side version.